You're watching CBS 17 continuous coverage of Hurricane Florence.
And welcome back. We will stay here with you throughout the storm. We are local news that matters. We're going to stay here until Hurricane Florence makes landfall and even after to make sure that you are safe.
Zach Dahlheimer has been in Johnson County all day. He's giving us the very latest on some of the shelters up there.
We're here at West Johnson High School in Benson, where many people have been coming in and out trying to seek shelter from the storm. I want to take you actually over here where you could see this parking lot filled with cars as well as buses coming in too, dropping off people who are trying to seek shelter here in Johnston County. Now, West Johnson High School is one of 4 locations throughout the county offering shelter for those trying to seek shelter with Hurricane Florence approaching the coast. Johnston County officials say they've been taking in people both from the coast and inland. We talked with one couple from Wayne County about why they decided to seek shelter.
This is not a storm to ride out. It's not nothing to play with. He's on oxygen. We needed to be somewhere where we knew that there would be a generator backup, in case something was to go wrong. So we figured it would be best for us and the animals to come here. It'd be safer.
County officials also say West Johnson High School is a pet-friendly location for people to bring pets. 2 other locations that are offering shelter too in the county are Benson Middle School and Clayton High School. For all the information regarding shelters in Johnson County, you can also visit our website, cbs17.com. In Benson, Zach Dahlheimer, CBS 17 News.
Zach, thank you so much. There are 126 shelters open here in North Carolina, and they're supposed to be opening up more. So if you need shelter, there's places you can go.
Right, many at capacity. Well, we are starting to finally see some video and pictures coming in from the coast from people that are out there, not just our viewers, or not just our reporters, but also viewers. CBS 17's Maggie Newland is here in the studio with us. And Maggie, the pictures and the videos, just unbelievable.
Yeah, they just show the power of this storm. We want to show you a couple of them now. Pine Knoll Shores Police are tweeting today. They're saying the conditions are getting much worse quickly. They also shared some photos with us. Hopefully we're going to have those coming up in just a minute. Look at that. You can see trees across the road there. That vehicle can't make it through. They're saying, please stay inside, stay off the roads, and stay away from all downed lines. That town of Pine Knoll Shores says they are getting reports of widespread power outages. Also on Twitter, NWS Raleigh, the National Weather Service out of Raleigh, is reminding everyone to pay attention to rivers and flooding risks. They've also told us 26,000 people, as we know, in low-lying areas in Raleigh. They were encouraged to move to higher ground. Our meteorologists have been saying it. The flooding is going to be significant from this storm. Hyde County has suspended EMS operations until further notice. This is because by going out to rescue you or to rescue someone who needs it, they put their own lives at risk. So Hyde County suspending EMS through further notice. And in the town of Emerald Isle, more than 2/3 of homes there without power. These are, we saw some video a little bit earlier. These are pictures of the pier at Emerald Isle. You can see the power of those waves coming right up, slamming into that pier now. Emerald Isle is also under a curfew, and the Emerald Isle Bridge is closed. Fortunately, at this point, no reports of significant damage to any structures, but boy, does that illustrate the power of this storm. Angela and Marius?
Yeah, it's a strong storm there, Maggie. Thank you so much. We do know that storm is causing quite a few power outages, including in Wilmington.
We want to get you right back out to Wilmington with Holden Kowicki. And Holden, we've seen it rain out there. We've seen you lose your hat. We've seen you talk about taking pictures of the sun. What's happening there now?
Well, like you said, Kristen was tweeting that the power went out where she is in Wilmington. Actually, about the time that she tweeted that, the power actually came on down here on the waterfront in downtown Wilmington. As you can see, here on the Riverwalk, the lights are on. It is raining again. Another band of rain is actually starting to move in as we speak. But I just got done speaking with New Hanover County Commission Chair Woody White. He was kind enough to swing by and talk to me for a minute right after he got off the phone with the White House. He said that they have been very, very hands-on and extremely helpful, all the way from the president down to Congressman Rouser and everybody in between. He said if things could work this smoothly for every storm, that they would have no problems in this country. He kind of said that tongue in cheek a bit, of course, but he did say he was extremely proud of all the communication and how the federal officials have really worked hand in hand, just saying, what do you need? And he said that's been so impressive to him to this point. Of course, he said he and his family are continuing to ride the storm out here. They are opening an emergency operations center here. It's been open for a couple days now. And he said he was going over there, and a lot of the local officials are actually hunkering down there. And the message that they had, because there are still a number of people walking around in between these bands, is that the worst is yet to come. And that's really the scary thing out here. It hasn't gotten too bad out here, and I think a lot of people are maybe starting to take it a little lightly. But Florence is going to continue to roll into shore here, and you don't want to get caught out as that hurricane continues to roll into Wilmington. Live in Wilmington, Holden Krewicki, CBS 17 News.
Holden, what he just said was so powerful. We've seen the images out there. We've seen the water. We've seen the flags, and the worst is yet to come.
I know. Let's bring in meteorologist Bill Ray. And Bill, you just said that getting a little bit closer now, less than 80 miles?
Yeah, 85 exactly.
85.
And it's still moving at 5 miles per hour, and it's 85 from Wilmington, where Holden was.
Okay.
So you do the math again, you're talking 17 hours, which would be noon tomorrow. That storm could be right over Wilmington, and it looks like it's on that beeline path forward, at least according to the projections that we've had, and they've been very consistent over the last 24 hours. Once again, as we take a look at the winds here, you can see them just blowing around, and there are the gusts. 65, 69 at that buoy off of Cape Hatteras, 54 at Cape Hatteras, 47 where Holden is in Wilmington. These are the wind gusts, and then 56 off the buoy off of Oak Island there, where they have 29-mile-per-hour winds. Further inland where we are, we've got wind gusts. These are wind gusts. Lumberton and Robinson County, wind gusts of 26 miles per hour, 37 in Fayetteville, and then 26 in Smithfield. So all in all, we've got the wind gusts that continue to blow, and they're not going to get, it's not going to be like take its time and relax a little tonight. We're going to keep these going all night long. So as we mentioned, the speed hasn't changed. The moving speed hasn't changed, and really the intensity hasn't changed. 105 mile per hour max winds moving west-northwest at 5. You can see the line here. Well, what's interesting, we talk about how hurricanes kind of wobble like a top, and if you look at the last couple of this yellow track line, it kind of wobbled to the north, wobbled to the west, wobbled a little more to the northwest, and now it looks like it's wobbling due west, which would put it on a beeline for somewhere in New Hanover County. And you can see it there again as it continues to throw all those rain bands on the coast of North Carolina. So the forecast track, now this will not update until 11 o'clock tonight, but it's a new advisory because we're going to get new wind speeds and locations every single hour. So right now we're sitting with that Category 2 storm. Friday at 2 a.m., right here, and then it looks like it's going to go right over Wilmington, and by 2 p.m. 85, and that does justify that maybe around noontime tomorrow it'll be right over Wilmington, meaning it'll come ashore maybe late in the morning unless it slows down. Category 1 storm tomorrow afternoon as a hurricane, 85 mile per hour winds over Brunswick County. Then it makes this little left turn into North Myrtle Beach, Horry County, and then starts to move west again on Saturday. But it's a very slow movement to Friday to Saturday. And when this storm is between these 2 points and moving slowly, the circulation around it counterclockwise, so it's going to bring up all that Atlantic moisture, and heavy, heavy rains is going to be, I think, almost more of a concern than the winds. Originally, earlier in the week, when we thought this storm might come ashore, Hurricane Hazel strength, 140 mile per hour winds. That was the extreme that we thought. Then the winds would be really a major factor. Now, that doesn't mean we won't have trees and down power lines, because that's going to occur. But I think this storm might be known more well, at least inland, for all the rain we're going to get, especially in the southern part of our viewing area, including Sampson County and also Cumberland County. But we could see some floods up as far north as the Triangle. So once again, you see the storm coming and then making that little left turn as it follows the upper level winds, and then the mountains won't be out of the woods, because even though that's a non-tropical low developing the beginning of the week, that's going to throw a lot of rain that way, so they'll probably have some flooding. I saw this on the national news. They were talking about thinking of a storm surge around 8 feet, and that was right into our forecast that I made between Morehead City and Cape Fear, a wall of water 7 to 9 feet. When that storm comes ashore tomorrow, it could be thrown up along our beaches. And then, as I mentioned too, that the storm will be inland over southeastern North Carolina, so the circulation around it will be land, coming from the land. That's why all of a sudden that 7 to 9 all of a sudden goes to 1 to 3 on the Brunswick County beaches. So Ocean Isle, Oak Island, Sunset Beach getting off a little easier in terms of storm surge than Topsail Island, Wrightsville Beach, Figure 8, Carolina Beach, all the way up to Atlantic Beach and Morehead City. The Outer Banks, you're getting buffered right now, but all in all, a 1 to 3 foot storm surge, they can live with that. We've got a 100% chance. When do you see that, right? It is going to have tropical storm force winds because you know what? We showed it to you. They're occurring already along the coastal area. But the other thing to look at is through tomorrow night, really pretty much guaranteed Fayetteville is going to see that, and there's a pretty good chance Raleigh will too. So we've got the hurricane force winds forecast tomorrow morning to be going from Morehead City all the way down through about Ocean Isle and maybe nipping parts of southern Sampson County. And then those hurricane force winds will shrink but still be around all day long on Friday in the southeastern part of our state. Meanwhile, we can see tropical storm force winds approach the Durham area with wind gusts even higher than that. And then we will see just tropical storm force winds on Saturday. But that means 2 days of this, and this is going to be a problem in its own right. So the tropical storm warnings have been extended to Franklin, Wake, and also Chatham and Nash counties, and they also include Johnson like they have all day in Fayetteville. And there could be the slightest possibility, Goldsboro, Clinton, you could see hurricane force winds or hurricane force wind gusts. The flash flood watch goes till Sunday now, and it does move a little further northward because this rainfall potential, I would look at this as the worst case scenario with a slow moving storm. The possibility exists 20 inches of rain from Fayetteville southward and even 6 to 10 in the triangle. More likely would be 10 to 15 in Fayetteville and maybe 3 or 4 or 5 in the triangle. And you can see one of our computer models showing that right there. So we will show you the radar real quick just to show you a couple of the rain bands that are occurring, but this is well out ahead of everything. And you can see the storm system still churning off the coast. Now, we did get a request on our phone line. Hey, you haven't mentioned what else has happening in the tropics. Yeah, we've got our eyes. We're watching Florence, but there is Joyce, Helene, and Isaac. None of those 3 storms will head toward America. Isaac is weakening in the Caribbean. Helene is moving north. And Joyce, I don't know what Joyce is doing. Joyce is it's just a storm up in the North Atlantic that's not coming our way. It's going to drift southwest and make a loop and go back to the northeast. You know, it's not going anywhere.
All right, Bill, thank you so much.
All right, we want to check in with Wayne County, where our Richard Essex joins us live. And Richard, the last time we talked to you, it looked like Wayne County was ahead of the game when it comes to preparations.
Well, we are in Wilson County. We have found that there's an awful lot of pressure in some of the rural areas. Here in Wilson County, we understand that they have opened up at least a couple more shelters. The Red Cross director out here at a Wilson County high school, Diane Schoen, you have about 136 people. What do you expect capacity to be like?
Our capacity is actually 255.
255. Have you seen a pretty steady number of people coming through?
Yes, we've grown over 100 today.
Yeah, one of the things that I heard earlier today is that the shelters are not always going to be. It's a place to get out of the storm. So when people come here, what do they need to bring?
Actually, we're asking them right now to bring bedding because we've run out of cots.
You've run out of cots. So when people come to these, they cannot expect for there to be a mattress or a bed. They need to bring stuff with them.
Yes, that's what we're asking them to bring right now. And if they have children, to bring toys for their kids.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of children here. What's the population like? About 50, 60% of the people here, are they children?
No, there's only like maybe 20 children here.
Okay. Now, this is a pet-friendly one. This is the first shelter I've been to in a long, long time where you've got a place for people to bring their pets. Is that kind of the standard now?
Yes, it is becoming more the norm. Yes.
I guess we learned a lot of lessons after some of the other storms. All right. Well, Diane, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, as we have discovered as our travels throughout some of the rural parts, the need for shelters is growing as the storm starts to move more. They expect more people to be starting to look for shelters. In Wilson, Richard Essex, CBS 17 News.
Richard, thank you so much. He said that they have 136 people, 255 is capacity, so still more room in that facility in Wilson.
That's right. We are going to take a quick break. Don't forget, you can always go to CBS17.com for the latest updates and our mobile news app. If you were to lose power, you can still have us right here. We'll be streaming live through this storm. We leave you with a live look at Frying Pan Tower.
Stay with CBS 17 for continuous coverage of Hurricane Florence. You're watching CBS 17 continuous coverage of Hurricane Florence.
Our coverage continues as Hurricane Florence makes its way to the Carolina coast. We have a team of reporters covering from the top of Virginia all the way down to South Carolina, giving you the latest you need to know about Hurricane Florence.
Yeah, and right now we know that the eye of Hurricane Florence is less than 85 miles from the coast. So Bill Ray telling us that probably sometime around noon tomorrow we'll start to see it make landfall. All right, we want to check in with CBS 17's Colleen Quigley, who continues our coverage tonight.
Right now, Wake County says they are housing 1,000 evacuees from the coast at Knightdale High School, Southeast Raleigh High School, and Garner High School, but we're being told those shelters are full. So they've opened up 3 more, including this one at Heritage High School. I'm joined now by Emerson Barker. He's with the county. Who are these shelters for?
So this shelter is meant either for members of the community who are in need in this local area or folks from outside the county who are still trying to find a safe place to stay as Florence moves a little further inland.
Tell me, if someone wants to come to this shelter or the 2 others that have opened here today, what should they keep in mind? What should they bring with them?
I think the main thing to keep in mind is that depending on the path of the storm, they may be here for a few days or up to a week, depending on the length of time. So try to bring any necessary medication, some food and water. This is a pet-friendly shelter, so make sure they bring anything that they need for their dog or cat as well if they're bringing them along.
And so the room we're standing in right now, it's one of the high school's gymnasiums. This is going to be an overflow room.
Correct. Yes. Right now we've got one gym set up for folks to join us. It can hold about 250 people. As the night goes on, as we get more people, this gym will be set up for an additional 250 people. So we'll be able to bring in about 500 people by the time it's all done.
Now, if people want to come to this shelter, but they're concerned it could be full, is there somewhere they can call or somewhere online they should check out?
So I would always recommend that citizens or anyone in the community that's looking to go to a shelter, go to Ready Wake, which is the county's website, or check the county website or the county's Facebook or social media pages. They put up regular posts about what county facilities facilities are open and the status of the different shelters throughout the county.
And final question here. I know you mentioned this shelter is pet friendly, so important to a lot of our people who live here. What should people who have a dog or cat remember to bring with them?
Sure. So I think if there's any medications that, just like for a human, if there's any medications that their pets need, also if they have anything that they need like a leash or anything like a kennel that they need, we can provide some of those, but at a certain point we may run out. So just keep in mind anything you need to keep your pets safe and comfortable while they're here.
All right, Emerson, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. And we have all of the information on shelters on our website, CBS17.com. Reporting at Heritage High School, Colleen Quigley, CBS 17 News.
All right, Colleen, thank you. A lot of shelters are open right now. And some may be at capacity. They plan to open more if that's the case.
One of the places that we've seen a lot of the conditions change is Wilmington. Want to get you back out to Holden Kowicki with the very latest.
Hey guys, the wind and rain continue to come in bands out here, and with that comes a number of people just out surveying the damage. One of those people is New Hanover County Commission Chair Woody White. He joins us now. And Woody, you were telling me that you were over at Wrightsville Beach earlier. What was the conditions like out there?
Well, a few hours ago it was pretty rough. It was at a low tide, so right now I'm sure it's pretty bad. It's a rising tide. But Holden, we're ready for this. We prepare for it, not only in best practice strategies and so forth, but in experience. We've been through this a lot, many times.
You know, talking to all of the emergency managers and seeing all the work that's being done already, you know, how would you say things are going at this point in the storm?
Exceptional. I just left the Emergency Operations Center about 10 minutes ago. There are 350 dedicated people over there, Highway Patrol, Governor's office, federal officials, local officials, everybody working seamlessly, implementing the plans that we've been working on, that we work on year after year, month after month, and so it's impressive to watch what they do. But right now is the time for people to stay where they are. We are entering a period of the storm where first responders are not going to be able to get to you, so hunker down, be safe, but know that we're going to be there the moment the storm ends if you need us.
And seeing all these people who have been kind of walking around out here, have you been telling them, go home?
Well, no, I mean, you know, I think this day and age, most people use their own common sense, that they have more access to information than ever before in human history in terms of Google and their phones and so forth. So they discriminate, you know, they look at the weather, they look at local officials, and they kind of make their own decisions. Most people have made the right decisions by self-evacuating or seeking shelter. We've had over 800 people here in New Hanover alone in our shelters, and 200 or so in Raleigh, actually, in shelters. People are listening, people are paying attention, and it's going to save lives.
How much has the help between New Hanover County and Wake County officials really helped you guys as you've evacuated people, you know, further north to get them out of the path of the storm?
It's invaluable when people work together, and the lessons that we've learned from watching communities that have struggled with this over the last decade or two with these types of catastrophes is you don't have a choice. You better work together. Lives depend on it, people's property and future depends on it. And so I tell you what, I've never seen anything like it from the federal. We talked to the White House a few minutes ago. We've talked to Congressman Rouser, the governor, just everybody is pulling in the same direction. And it's remarkable. I wish we could do that with everything, but certainly catastrophes seem to make us better people.
What type of feedback were you getting from the White House as they got an update on this storm?
What do you need? Call us. Here's our cell phone number. We're there. It's remarkable what the president, the way he galvanizes and makes people focus on these types of things. And that type of mentality seeps down to the federal agencies, seeps down to the state governments, and certainly to the local governments. I mean, we're the lowest hanging fruit down here. We're the boots on the ground, literally. And so I tell you, I've got an inside view of how it all works. And it's remarkable. There's still going to be a lot of devastation, a lot of people's lives affected. We know that. Mother Nature has a way of doing that to us, but we're resilient and we're going to be fine. We're going to get through it.
Where are you riding the storm out?
At the Emergency Operations Center and at home with my family, back and forth as the weather permits.
All right. You know, God bless your family. God bless you, Woody.
Thank you.
You stay safe out there. And guys, I'm going to send it back to you in the studio. As you can probably see, my hat almost blew off again in Wilmington. Holden Kowicki, CBS 17 News.
Holden, thank you. Everyone is keeping an eye on this storm. They have heard from the White House there in Wilmington.
Yeah, we have learned that upwards of 70,000 customers are already without power, and most of that, of course, is along the coast of the Carolinas. CBS 17's Michael Hyland has an update from Duke Energy.
We're starting to feel the effects of Hurricane Florence here in the Triangle, and already significant number of power outages along the coast. So to talk about what we can expect over the next several days, joined by Grace Roundtree from Duke Energy. And like other Duke Energy customers, I got the email recently that said 1 to 3 million customers could be without power. Is that still what you're expecting at this point?
That is the case. This is a powerful, dangerous storm. And as you heard Governor Cooper say, this is a historic storm. We are anticipating 1 to 3 million outages across our North Carolina and South Carolina territory.
And we're starting to see thousands of customers on the coast already lose power. How long is it going to be before crews can even get out there to start the process of restoring power?
Sure thing. Well, our crews can't go anywhere until it is safe to do so. So the storm's going to come in, and once it's safe to do so, our crews can go out. We are prepared, though. We have more than 20,000 people here in the Carolinas who are ready to respond and restore power as quickly and safely as possible. More than 10,000 of those are Duke Energy employees, and we have another 9,400 from neighboring utilities from as far as Texas.
And I understand they've been coming from several states to help out with this.
That's correct. We have an army, and we're ready to go.
Tell me about what you all did in terms of putting those people in different places across the state, because this is going to be a statewide event. Even though the coast might get the brunt of it, we're probably going to see power outages statewide.
Right. This is a statewide event, and we are anticipating widespread impacts in terms of outages. So we will be having crews across the state in terms of restoration. But again, at this point, we cannot send those crews out until it is safe to do so.
As I understand, along the coast, there's a nuclear facility in Brunswick County that you all have taken the steps to start powering down?
That is correct. It's part of normal protocol whenever there's going to be any type of hurricane force winds in the forecast. There's certain steps that we have to take.
I'm sure you're going to be hearing from a lot of customers in the coming days. What is the main thing they need to know if their power is out for 7 days, 14 days? Do they need to keep calling? What do they need to do to make sure they're getting attention?
Just always remember to report your outage, and there's 3 easy ways to do that. You can text out to the number 57801. You can call the number directly on your energy bill, or you can go online. And we ask just to be patient with us. This is a dangerous storm that's about to come through, and so it's going to take days or even weeks in terms of power restoration.
Thank you very much. And if you need any of those numbers or any of that information, we've posted all of that at CBS17.com. You can also get it on the CBS 17 mobile news app. In Raleigh, Michael Hyland, CBS 17 News.
Okay, the eye of the storm still has not hit, and already thousands of people are without power, so we do expect more to come.
The eye of that storm, 85 miles away. Time for a quick break. On the other side of the break, Chief Meteorologist Wes Hohenstein will join us with the very latest on Hurricane Florence.
Stay with CBS 17 for continuous coverage of Hurricane Florence. You're watching CBS 17 continuous coverage of Hurricane Florence.
And welcome back to CBS 17's extended coverage of Hurricane Florence. Look at that massive storm there on radar. Has not even made landfall yet. Still about 85 miles away from Wilmington.
Yes, and that storm continues to inch closer. And we're going to be joined right now by Chief Meteorologist Wes Hohenstein. And Wes, you have very new information.
Yep, so at this point in the game, we're going to get updates from the Hurricane Center every hour. But remember, the forecast won't change for every 6 hours, so 5 and 11. So this is what we just got from the top of the hour. We've been following that gauge at Cape Lookout. The gusts are now up to 86 miles per hour, and we're starting to get some information on the water levels storm surge. So are you guys familiar with Oriental, North Carolina? It's far out there along the coast. The Pamlico Sound is starting to come up. The Neuse River is already 5.5 feet above normal. So wind, storm surge, and rain are 3 biggest concerns as Florence heads our way. And you can see that green box. I know it's hard to see, you know, green on green, but that is a flood warning. So they're already having some flood issues there. And I'll let this loop through. I want you to watch right here around Cape Hatteras and the Outer Banks. You're going to see a little red box. It was there briefly, but they've already had a tornado warning. So that's yet another thing we have to worry about. One interesting thing has nothing to do with meteorology, but astronomy. You're not going to be able to see it anytime soon, but we have a new moon out right now. And the way it works with the planets and the moon and the sun, when we have a new moon, the tides are all a little bit higher. Not a lot, not drastically, but a little bit higher. That's bad news because we have a new moon, we have higher tides because of it, and then we have all this storm surge as a hurricane approaches. So that's bad timing. So that's going to contribute to even more storm surge and flooding problems. How about here at home? So wind, not really an issue yet, but we are starting to see some scattered showers move through. Nothing severe. Our threat for tornadoes is not here yet. That'll come tomorrow, possibly. And the flooding hasn't come yet. But, I mean, the wall of water is inching closer and closer. It's about ready to get to Greenville. It's moving into parts of Wayne County. So here it comes. Remember, it's going to be baby steps. This thing's only moving 5 miles per hour. So let's talk a little bit more about the wind because I'm dialed in to as many stations as I can. I've kind of overcrowded it, but I did that on purpose because I want to see everything. So we've got a couple buoys offshore. These are current wind gusts. There's the eye. There's on land Cape Hatteras, 54-mile-per-hour wind gusts. I've also put the wind arrows there because remember, we've got counterclockwise circulation, so wind direction is going to matter for a lot of us too. So most everything on land is coming north, northeast. See all the arrows pointing down. All right, so we're going to continue to keep an eye on this. Our wind speeds, these are just sustained winds. Again, not looking too bad, right? Rocky Mount, 25 miles per hour. But you add in the gusts, and it's the gusts that are going to get us. They're going to get our trees starting tomorrow. Gusts are starting to pick up, but still okay. 33 miles per hour in Rocky Mount, 30 down in Fayetteville. You guys down in Moore and Harnett County, 10 to 20 averaging out for gusts. So we're okay with gusts right now. There's the latest information from the National Hurricane Center. The hurricane hunters just returning from a mission where they were kind of measuring the atmosphere around the storm. That's just as important as measuring what's going on inside. There's probably another mission headed out there right now. They'll probably penetrate the eye and pass along that information to us. But winds back down to 100 miles per hour. So we've had some fluctuations. We were at 100, we went to 105, we're back down to 100, still moving west-northwest at 5 miles per hour. And still a Category 2 hurricane. So we're going to feed that new information from the hurricane hunters into the computer models. Let's show you the late afternoon runs on that. And again, being this close, there's not going to be a lot of deviation, but where the deviation will come is what happens when it does go inland. Does it move straight across? Does it